Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be Hairy Muppet, and we are going to be casting the first semi-final of the HomeStory Cup number 7. And up the top left side of the map, it is going to be our red Zerg player Hyun, and down the bottom right side of the map, it is going to be our blue Zerg player Snute. So we're going to have another awesome ZVZ series of games. Semi-finals in this cup are going to be best as 5, same as the quarterfinals. Now let's have a look at these players. I mean, Hyun, he was facing off against MC in the quarterfinals. MC, of course, a Protoss player. And yeah, he did some very, very nice bits of games in there. Yeah, I believe he first game was like a Roach Hydra Viper, yanking out the Colossus all over the place. Really, really good stuff. Second game, however, that was the one we didn't have the replay for, and he lost to MC. MC doing some very nice early Sentry Stalker push, about the 11-12 minute mark. But yeah, Hyun came back with a nice Ling Rush in the third game. Not a super early one, but still devastating enough. And he had an absolutely awesome army in the fourth game. It was Roach, Hydra, Ultralisk, Infestors, absolutely mass them all over the place. And yeah, eventually MC just couldn't stand up to it, just couldn't stand up to the economy, and had to give out. But on the other side, no less impressive is Snute, and he was playing off against Stefano in the quarterfinals. And all I can say is, these guys love their roaches, man. I mean, the Snute dropped one game to Stefano, the second game, but he did win 3 games, so the first, third and fourth, and it was all roaches all day, every day. And I tell you what, man, the ZVZ of really the 11-12 minute roach pushes are just completely powerful, and it just comes down to a matter of 1 or 2 roaches as to which player wins, and it really is that close. And stuff like this, I mean, this what's it called, a hatchery coming down a bit earlier, this one coming out a bit later, but he's going to have his queen out a bit earlier. Basically, a lot of the game is decided in the first 5 minutes. Even before the units get out, you decide of a lot of it, because you can say, alright, he's got his spawning pool down first, he's going to have a bit more economy, he'll be able to get his Roach Warren a bit faster, he'll be able to get the Roach Warrens out a little bit faster. So as far as the roaches go, he has the lead. And the other player has to say, alright, how am I going to deal with that Roach Harass? What am I going to have to do to deal with that Roach Harass? Am I going to go for an early Ling Harass with some Banelings to try and take down some workers? Am I going to turtle inside my base with a bunch of Spine Crawlers and go for Mutas? I mean, what are the options here? And it really does come down to that, because roaches are such a powerful early game unit, and is just so awesome when you get them. They can move out and they can do so much damage. And I think ZVZ does really balance around that 10-11 minutes roach push, like the roach pressure, because it's so good. And you know, in a ZVZ game, at least one player is going to go for roaches, just because they're that good. And usually both players do go for roaches at some point, but it just comes down to a balancing act. Who's got the most roaches at the most time? Who's got the most economy at the most time, at the perfect time. It also comes down to the third base. A lot of the ZVZ win-lose depends entirely on this third base. If your opponent gets his third base up and your base gets knocked down by some early roach pressure or by some early Ling pressure, then the game is almost certainly over, unless you've got a bigger army at that point, in which case you can push out, you can do some damage, you can maybe get back into it. But ZVZ games are just so close. If you're behind on the economy and you're behind on the army, then you're probably going to lose within a matter of minutes. So let's have a look at what's going on. Snute is going for a Roach Warren. It's not super fast, but it's fairly fast. He's going to use it to produce part of his wall, so that's pretty good. Meanwhile, though, Hyun going for the third base. That's a fairly fast third base. It's half fast, half standard, but I'm going to say it's fast because he hasn't actually got the Roach Warren yet. I'm assuming he's going for one, because in ZVZ games, I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a ZVZ game where they haven't gone for roaches at some point. Whether they use them to transition into Ling Muta later on while they're getting their Muta tech up, or whether they actually go for Roach Hydras, or just a massive crap load of roaches. I mean, There we go. So there we go. Hyun getting his Roach Warren up. So he's a little bit behind, but he has got the third base coming up a lot faster than Snute. So he should be able to pump out a bit more, get a bit more workers a bit faster. Currently the economy is about the same, but you can expect Hyun to start taking a little bit of a lead now that he's got his third base up. And yes, he's already got a queen out there, so that guy was obviously taking the long walk. And we do have lings, so a little bit of ling pressure over there. Blue player Snute does not have any lings, so he's getting straight into the roaches. He's going to get them out a fair bit faster than Hyun is. And he's already got 3 roaches out, so them, as well as the queen, are going to scare those lings away. And that should be enough for now. So this early gambit by Hyun to cause a bit of damage, not really going to work. And meanwhile, Snute is going to be ahead in the roach count for the next couple of minutes. But we will see what Hyun can do with his early third base, whether he can pop the economy up a little bit more. You can see, yes, he's doing that. So he's pushed in with the lings and harassing, and at the same time he's going for a very, very big worker gap, getting quite far ahead. But right now Snute does have quite the army. He's 16 over 5 in terms of the roach numbers, and yes, he really needs to go in there and try and do some damage, because right now Hyun can produce roaches a lot faster than Snute can, and you can see Snute building up a crap load of workers, so he wants to get back in it. But Hyun is not going to give away his worker advantage that easily. He's continuing to produce them. And yeah, Snute might be able to catch up, but then he's not going to be able to pop up the army that he needs to do the damage he needs now. And he's left it a little bit late, or maybe not. There's actually a separate group of roaches, so we'll see. It's also going to come down to upgrades. Snute does have the +1, but Hyun has just finished researching it then, so he might be okay now. But Snute did have a slightly larger army, having to pull some workers away to scare those guys out. But yeah, right now I think the small economic lead that he had, and the fact that he had 10 more drones for about a minute or so, is going to help Hyun get out this bigger army. But yeah, Snute has definitely caught up back on the workers. He's only 5 behind now. So his roach count, he should be able to stand up to it. But I think overall Hyun is in a bit of a better position here. It's going to come down to the defensive advantage, what damage the queens can do. Neither player really has the upgrade advantage, although the upgrades for Snute are going to be here a bit quicker. So yeah, we are going to see exactly how that works out. If Hyun doesn't do some fair amount of damage before this 2 weapons comes out, then my guess is he's going to get backed away, but he manages to snipe the Roach Warren, and that is very, very, very big news right there, because he's pretty much cut off the reinforcements after these 6 come out, and if he keeps pulling reinforcements down here, he should be fine. And I think all of the roaches for Snute are possibly going to get taken out before 2 weapons comes down. It depends. All of Hyun's roaches are getting taken out, so he's lost any sort of group. And yeah, right now Snute has the numbers to just start sniping out the roaches as they come down. And yeah, I mean, once this roach warren comes up, Snute is quite a bit behind on the roach numbers, 13 behind, but he does have a tech advantage, getting the infestation pit out, but Hyun countering it by getting another economy. So he's not really pushing in to take Snute out anymore. He's just pushing in to keep him on the back foot to try and make sure that that Snute does not have a go at his 4th base. And if he can keep Snute off his 4th base, then he is going to be in an awesome position. But right now Snute does have the advantage. He has, I think, a little bit of a better army. Here we go, 18 versus no. Hyun's been built out quite a crap load of roaches. He doesn't have the upgrade advantage though, but yeah, with this many roaches, if he moves them all in, he might be able to do some major damage. I don't think he really wants to wipe him out. He just wants to get this 4th base up. Oh, look at that, 19 roaches being produced. He's really starting to kick it into gear, and maybe when level 2 weapons comes up, he'll pull all his numbers together and just go for the kill. You can see he doesn't really want to engage there. The lings are also giving him a bit of trouble. He's actually just keeping this army occupied while he sends forces down the left flank to try and harass this base, but Snute does have some forces over there to pick that off, and he managed to push up to the high ground. He's going to back away, and though he really should get just a massive amount of forces Snute's actually building up quite a lot though, and he's starting to get infestors. Now we have seen infestor use. I believe, who was it against? I cannot remember. I think it might have been TLO versus Violet, or it might have been somebody else. I really can't remember. One of the ZVZs we played before, a couple of infestors came out, but yeah, they didn't really do that much. And here we go, Hyun going in here. I think he's got more, but he doesn't have more at this particular spot. They're still coming in, trying to reinforce. But he has pulled these guys out. The 3 roaches coming in here. Going to be continuing to wipe out workers. So yeah, really good job done here. Sending him down the left side, constantly taking out workers. Now Snute was catching up. He was right where he needed to be in terms of harvesters, but he's really started to lose some from that roach harass. The fungals are doing a bit here though. They are getting this roach health down quite a bit. If we have a look at the units tab again, he's evened out the roach numbers for Hyun, so Snute is in quite a good position. He's got the tech advantage right now. He doesn't have the worker advantage because he's lost some, but yeah, he's got lings as well as roaches, whereas Hyun only has roaches, and he is getting this base down now, and I do believe that Hyun knows about it, so if he takes this down, this is going to be an awesome thing for him. This base has not even been attacked at all, as far as I can tell, but I have no doubt. No, he doesn't even know about it. So, and yeah, Hyun doesn't know about Snute's 4th base either. So neither of them are aware of each other's 4th base. But yeah, Hyun does have the aggressive advantage here. He is continuously pushing, continuously keeping Snute on the back foot. And here we go. He's going to see the hatchery. He's going to snipe that out without too many problems. Sending a couple of lings in there just to harass it. And this army being a little bit wary about going in, but of course Hyun does have a large amount of numbers, and he's got a bit of a concave here. But Snute does have a lot of forces, and with the fungal growth backup, I think Snute is going to be able to win this battle. If we have a look at the upgrades though, Hyun just about to finish 1 armor, and that will give him the upgrade advantage. But his army is they're starting to look a little bit wiped out. That's the disadvantage of actually attacking your opponent's base, is that your reinforcements are spread out all over the map. You can see he's probably ahead. Yeah, 32 to 11. So yeah, getting this 4th base up nice and fast and sniping at those workers. The workers are back up, but I mean, we've seen this in a few previous games as well. Just the amount of money that Snute has spent on those infestors is really not paying up for him, because it just means that Hyun can get so many more roaches than he can. And fungal growth just isn't that effective versus the roaches. And you can tell, I mean, Hyun was 20 roaches ahead, just because I believe Snute was getting infestors, and it just did not work out for him. And I'm not sure if there's not really a counter versus roaches. Maybe fast hydras or something like that, potentially, but roaches are just so much cheaper than hydras. I mean, half the gas, and gas is not something that's easy to come by in the early game. I don't know, I'd like to see hydras tried against really early roaches, but I don't know, maybe it wouldn't work that well. But we are going on to game number 2, and Hyun doing a really good job in the first game, keeping the pressure up, getting his hatcheries out nice and quickly. We saw that he actually had a force of about 8 lings pressuring while he got the 3rd base up, and that's a really good tactic. If you're attacking your opponent, 9 out of 10 times he is not going to be attacking you. He's going to be worried about defending his base. And yeah, if he's not attacking you, then you can basically expand whenever the hell you want. Just as long as you don't get super greedy and stuff like that, because obviously you get super greedy with the expansions, you can't afford to build the army, and then he overwhelms you with the superior army. But Hyun, of course, a master player, and he did it beautifully. And yeah, Snute got out the earlier roaches, and he had a superior army as soon as he chased those lings away early in the game, but he did not quite manage to really do any damage on the 3rd base with those roaches. By the time he got over there, Hyun was already building up his own roaches, and he had a better economy with the 3rd base, and so that was it. Yeah, and from then on, I think his economy was just a little bit better. So congratulations to Hyun for taking a win in Game 1, and we are going to move on to Game 2 right now, and we're going to see if Snute can push back. I mean, we're playing Roach versus Roach, and this is how Snute won all of his games, with just pure Roach pressure, and he knows exactly how the Roach pressure game is played. and we will see if you can play it back against Hyun in the next game. This has been Hairy Muppet. I'll catch you in game number 2.